announcement. Many of you were not here last Sunday, so your homework assignment will be collected by the ushers. There's going to be a special check on it. You didn't get the email? Your 5-page paper is MLA format? Okay, we'll wait till next time then. So, today, what are we talking about? Talking about a very important question that I want to know if you believe. So if you haven't read the front of the program today, it's Men's Agitat Molem. Do you believe? If you believe, raise your hand. Knowing that if you raise your hand, I might ask you, what does it mean? So don't raise your hand if you're like, well, people beside me are raising their hand, so I'm going to raise my hand because I don't want to be the one that doesn't know what it is. So I'm telling you now, when I open my eyes, if your hand is up, and I might call on you. I'm letting you know in advance. So, do you believe? Okay, so someone who raised their hand, well, someone who didn't raise their hand, do you know what it means? Okay, someone who does. What does it mean? Men's Agitat. I'm going home. Men's Agitat Molem. What does it mean? Because you can't know if you believe it if you're not sure what it means. Do you even know what it means? Come on now.
Move energy with thought.
So, the actual paraphrase is, mind moves matter. Another way that we'll say it commonly is mind over matter. Right? So the question is, once again, do you believe? Like, do you believe that mind moves matter? Now, we say this stuff in this, we love getting, wax philosophical and, yes, this is what I believe. I believe there's only one and yes. But I run across a whole lot of people, a whole lot of times. And people who have been in New Thought for a long time, longer than I've been alive in this form. And they'll say things like, I don't know how to meditate. Or I'm not really sure how to pray. Or what does it mean to have a spiritual practice? And I would venture to say that somebody you know is in that boat. I would venture to say. So the question comes in, what do I really believe? But more importantly, how does what I believe show up in my life? Because the thing is, if I were to say, I want to be a chef, and I want to be a really good chef, what do I need to do to become a better chef or a good chef? Practice what? I have to practice cooking. I want to be a better visual artist, a sculptor. What must I do? Sculpt. I want to be a better guitarist. Play what? The guitar. See, and the reason I'm being specific with this is because oftentimes we speak in generalized terms. We'll say, so I want to be a better musician, and you say, practice. But we don't really delve into what kind of musician, so that you know what to practice. You want to be a better chef, but what kind of chef? Because depending on what kind of chef, you have to practice a specific type of food. Did anyone see the 100-foot journey? Is that what it was? 100-yard journey, 100-foot journey? The young man in this grew up cooking Indian food, right? And he shifted to French cuisine. And he studied diligently. So the thing is, when you know what you want to do, and more importantly, when you know what you want to be, we're called to then practice the very thing that helps us, trains us, nurtures us into being that thing. Today's reading, one of the things that was said, started off with, behind everything physical in the world lies the unseen substance of spirit. Every physical thing is made of. In the Kabbalion, in the Hermetic teachings, one of the very first things is, the teaching number 1 is, this is the mental universe. Mind is all there is. So we know that the mind we use to think with is actually God's mind. and the piano we play and the shoes we wear is all made out of God's stuff. And in this location, in a sacred setting, it's real easy for us to remember that. But like I said last Sunday about being resolute, when we get out there and we see 2 nights ago or yesterday the snow falling, do we allow our minds to go into panic mode, cursing the snow, saying, oh my God, what, it's horrible, And if we do, which is okay because it's a legitimate human response, that's fine. But at some point we're called to say, why is this upsetting me? Why is the mere fact that it's snowing or raining disturbing my sense of inner peace? Why is it that soon as Thanksgiving it's coming, it's not even here yet, and we're already letting some future, what will Thanksgiving yield from, we're letting some whatever imagined, at that point it's imagined future possibility to step in and say, no, you can't be happy right now. Thanksgiving is in 3 weeks. Prep now. It's not happening right now, but we're already imagining because of something that happened last year, 2 years ago. Well, remember when Uncle Jeff said, and remember when Grandma, and remember when, do you remember when, but that's not now. So it's very easy to fall into letting whatever's going on rob us and steal whatever. But the important thing is, if we understand and we believe that mind moves matter, that what matters for us is made up in our mind, and that we get to choose, change, transform, whatever that is. But we have to know how to practice whatever is going to get us there. So the thing is, and I'm not asking right now, so do not raise your hands. If I were to ask, who feels, on a scale of, we'll say 1 to 10, 10 being, Ray, I can meditate right now and levitate from here to the restroom. We'll say that's a 10. 10 is the art of levitation. And 1 is meditation. Yes, I'd like to have some. I'm hungry right now. That's a 1. Okay? So we're anywhere between 1 and a 10. If I were to ask you honestly, where are you in your comfort and confidence and mastery of the art of meditation? Do you have a number in your mind of where you would say that you are? Same thing for prayer. Do you have something in your mind in terms of, I'm a little closer to the lower numbers of the spectrum. Why? Or whatever the spiritual practice is, because there are many. I was just talking to Tracy and Sarah this past Friday. Like there are well over 1,000 possible methodologies to raise one's spiritual consciousness. From the actual things that we label as, these are sacred and spiritual practices. Right? Because there are certain things that we specifically label as spiritual practices. But we don't think of things like walking. Most of us don't think of things like walking. But Thich Nhat Hanh, they do walking meditation. So walking can be a meditation. I just found a book 2 days ago that certain monks run as part of their meditation. People play music as their meditation. Anything that puts you in the zone. Because to me, the zone is that place that Yeshua spoke of when he said, the kingdom of heaven is within, go within. Because when you go within and you find, ooh, I like this. That place, that zone where you know that time does not exist. This flesh does not exist. The only thing that exists is simply now. And the joy and the bliss and the passion and the beauty that wells up from, I'm in it. There is no then, it's just now. everything else goes. And you come out of the zone and someone says, what have you been doing for the last 15 hours? 15 what? It's dark outside. Yeah, you were off painting for 15 hours. Or dancing for 15 hours. Or writing a new song. And everything else left. When we meditate, when we pray, when we cook, when we play with our children, when we hear our spouse laugh, any of these things can become the spiritual practice if we open to it, to be that thing. But once again, we have to get to a place where we are so honest with ourselves to say, I don't know how to do this and I want to know how. And then find someone and ask. You know, there are a lot of times that people will, because I ask folks I like to stoke the flames. So every now and then I'll ask someone, so I heard you mention this class or whatnot that you wanted to take, why didn't you take it? No, I'm serious, like put it into words. Why did you not take the class? I didn't know what it was about. That's all. I didn't know what it was about. Why did you not ask? I don't know. The thing is, it's time for us to let all of that go. It's time, in order to be ready, in order to truly live principle number 5 of the unity principles, which is when you know what you know and you know that you know it, do something about it. Live your truth. Live the truth. But we can't really do that. We can't really embrace that if we're too busy living and being this other stuff. Anybody in here ever heard of Dr. Masaru Emoto? Anyone who hasn't? Okay, so Dr. Emoto did this study with water where he froze water and then looked at the ice crystals. And what he did was had monks and people and whatnot send intentions to the water or pray or meditate. And what he noticed was he took water from the Fujiwara Dam and he looked at the water and the water was like, and then people prayed on it and the water was like, and then he had people focus, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And then he froze it and looked at the crystals and they were like, and then I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you too. Like literally the crystals changed from looking like gloop to looking like snowflakes. How much water are we made of? So if sending an intention to the water, which many people have said, well, I can't freeze water and look at ice crystals because I don't have an electronic microscopical thing. So people turned it into the rice, where they cooked rice, and they put rice into these jars and did the exact same thing. And noticed that this rice that's, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, turned into mold. This one, I love you, I love you, I love you, stayed fresh for days. The intentions we send forth are changing the very environment. The thoughts we think are changing, we'll say water. And then we ingest water. So if I curse, and the water is like, what's going into me? And if that's what's going in, we know from those who grew up in my generation or whatnot, we know you are what you eat. So if it's what I'm taking in, then it's what I've become. See, it's challenging, I know. Tracy will tell you, first of all, you all do recall that Tracy's not my biological sister, right? Just put that up there and mention that again. Nor is she my wife. Some of y'all know. Tracy can attest. She will tell you, don't laugh, don't laugh. You can laugh in a moment. She will tell you that a couple of years ago, I was not the person that I am now. Right? And I knew this stuff. I knew this stuff. I had been reading this stuff and been practicing this stuff. But I was still miserable. Why? because I wasn't putting it into regular, daily practice and application. See, it's one thing to say, I want to be happy, but it's an altogether different thing to get up and walk like a happy person, to talk like a happy person, to have conversations about things that happy people converse about. See, there is absolutely no reason, just because the doctor said this, or just because I was abused, just because whatever happened, I'll speak personally, just because whatever happened in my life in the past was horrendous and painful. And even when I think about when I was diagnosed with PTSD from all of the abuse and all this stuff, even when I have moments where someone will come up to me and say, hey Ray, you remember me? And I don't remember whatever they're talking about, because I'm told that the PTSD is like, boop, no more, you're not going to remember that today. And it's real easy that I could say, ugh, like I have all these gaps in my memory of, you're telling me that we had some fun playing frisbee and volleyball and I don't remember it. And it would be very easy for me to, I have PTSD and it is robbing me of my joy and stealing bliss out of my life and keeping and preventing me from living fully and enjoying. It would be very easy. But what I said last week, be resolute. Be resolute that the words come out of your mouth are more of what you want to speak, more of what you want to see, more of what you want to be and walk into. Long time ago, I think we were actually at the strip mall, I mentioned one of the quotes that Murder Fillmore, it was actually probably one of the first quotes that I read that like knocked me off my feet. When she said, never let anything come out of your mouth, and I'm paraphrasing, never let anything come out of your mouth that you do not want to see happen in your life. Don't talk about what you don't want to bring about. Like for a lot of people, that makes the conversation real, hey Ray, how's it going? And you? Like that keeps things pretty simple to a certain degree. Because you're like, what did mom say? If you don't have something nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So if we don't want to see it, then we shouldn't be it. Which means we have to be mindful of the words that we're speaking. There's this thing called cymatics. Anybody familiar with cymatics? It's like this scientific study of how sound vibration, like people, they took a metal plate, an iron plate, and put salt crystals on it or sand, and then put an A into it, and then it changed geometrically, and then hit it with a B, and then it changed geometrically. And then they started doing it with other things, water and stuff, showing that sound changes the very vibration of. And when I learned about this, it made me think about this movie. Anybody remember Frank Herbert? Author of Dune?
Oh, yes.
So there's this movie, Dune, nerd in me again, and there's this line in this movie where Paul Atreides, who becomes Muad'Dib, the Kwisatz Haderach, the Christ-like figure in the story, where he's teaching the Fremen, the rebels, that thought, we believe, what he says is, we believe that thought has form, and that by speaking it, it then changes and I'm paraphrasing, it then changes the environment. Thought has form, and when we speak it, we give that form a life. So, one of the things that we spoke about, that I'm not going to put her out there, one of the things that I and someone here spoke about last week was, this thing about global warming, right? So we have global warming. And the question was, Ray, how do we address global warming while? And the idea is, we don't obsess on global warming. Because the more we talk about it and how awful it is and it's going to be the end of the world if we don't do something, we're actually sending more negative energy to it. So the analogy I gave was, suppose I'm cooking and I burn myself. Oh, ah. Oh, look, it's a burn. It's a burn. It's horrible. It hurts. I think it's going to get infected. It's probably going to get infected and I'm going to lose my hand. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's too overwhelming to think about what am I going to do with an amputated hand. It's too overwhelming. I don't know what to do. It's the same thing we're doing with many global and world events. Terrorism, political strife, etc. We are letting this thing overtake us. Rather than saying, I gotta burn aloe vera and do something about it. Do what is mine to do in this moment. If I'm cut and it's, well, I'm not Rambo, so I can't give myself sutures. So I do know, compress and go to someone to sew it up. Do what is ours to do. Finding that place within where I know this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. This is what I want to have. And knowing that if we say we believe in this stuff, that everything that I need to manifest it is already within me. Every vision or dream that shows up is showing up because it's yours to do. I have never had in my mind the idea or the vision that I want to go out on a skyscraper, put a hard hat on, and walk a beam to put rivets or... I've never had that in my mind. I've never had it in my mind that I want to find, the Russian ballet. It's never been something in my mind that I want to do. Which means it's not mine to do. But what is in there? To teach and speak. New thing is, learn how to play one of those. If it shows up in there, it's yours to do. There is absolutely no reason to buy into the, but I'm too old. Or I'm too young. I can't because. Many years ago, when I moved to DC, got involved with a theater company called Open Circle Theater. And Open Circle Theater is basically a theater without limits. The very first production that I worked on with them, I was the rehearsal interpreter because they had deaf people in the cast and as choreographers and whatnot. Jesus was a quadriplegic in a wheelchair. One of the disciples was blind, another was deaf. Open Circle Theater believes in no limits. If I'm not mistaken, one of the founders of Open Circle Theater is a woman who has, and I don't remember the exact medical term, but her physical self is experiencing this thing called brittle bone disease, where bones break easily. Like that's her physical experience. She's a dancer though, she has crutches, but she also is a member of a professional dance company where people are in wheelchairs and double amputees or single amputees. If you want to do it, I know deaf people, there is no voice, so they sing because they want to sing and perform. They sing with their hands. If you want to do it, then do it. Spirit, source, God, whatever we choose to call it. If it says, go back to school. Because there's some training that in order to have this company that you want to have, that I, as you, want us to, because it's going to change the world. Go take those other 3 classes. Don't worry about the how am I going to get the money. Because the moment we step out in faith, Florence says, the woman that wrote, right, thank you, I'm drawing a blank. She, and I'm paraphrasing once again, she said, I don't buy into or I don't allow situations, circumstances to affect me, therefore they must change. So it shows up, and it doesn't change me. I change it. So the how shows up. Everything that I've ever wanted to do with my life, there were a whole bunch of things. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. But the moment we step out in faith, everything falls into place. Because the thoughts that we think, I have faith in God as my ultimate source. As the ultimate source. So imagine there's a well that we go to be refreshed and revitalized. We don't fill the well fills us. But if you're thirsty, you have to go to the well. You have to lower the bucket and bring it back and then sip. Each of us is responsible for looking at whatever in our lives and saying, no more. Not on my watch. Last night, Tracy and I were watching the marathon of This Is Us. And she was in her room, and I'm in my room, which she commonly refers to as the bridge upon which under which the troll is supposed to be. Yeah, Tracy commonly refers to me as, troll, go back to your bridge. Yes. So I was under my bridge, watching This Is Us. And we kept texting each other back and forth, saying, oh my goodness, what's with the drama with these people? And we're like, I would just tell the truth. Just tell them what you feel. Be transparent. But we are so afraid of really living to the fullest. Because somewhere in our minds we have this, but what if it doesn't last? It's not going to. How many of us love when Bob sings? How long would Bob be able to sing if Bob never stopped singing? Since I know him, and I know he does a lot of chi work and breath work, he'd probably be able to go about 2-3 weeks. And then at some point a thumb would fall off. And knowing him as well as I do, he would set it down and play with this one. Everything that is great and good is not meant to continue to the degree or the manner in which it's continuing then. Right? It's ebb and flow, frequency. But what we know is, when I leave Disney, sorry Sarah, when I leave Disney, I can go back. When he's not playing, he'll play again, or I can go buy a CD. We can do what is ours to do to make the bliss, the passion, the love, the joy, the happiness continue. We have the ability to choose what needs to be chosen to live the extraordinary life that we are meant to live. Because I've said it many times that none of us, in essence, none of us are magnificent. Each and every one of us is magnificence personified. And if we are magnificence personified, then everything we do is then magnificent. I am not loving simply because I like to give hugs. I'm loving because I am love made flesh. And when I embrace that and allow that to be the truth, I can't help but to let that be what comes out. Remember before I said we have the ability to change the very atmosphere of a room we walk into. We have the ability to go to work, as much as I don't like to go to work, because I don't like to go to work, but if we shift that and say, I can change what matters in this place of business. I may not be able to change it for you, and I may not be able to change it for you, but I can change it for me. And as I change, the environment around me changes. And then what I notice is my supervisor's a little nicer than normal. And my assistant is nicer and more attentive and prompt. What changed me? That's why Gandhi said, go go out and do the change. No, Gandhi said, be it. Be the change that you want to see. So what we have to do is determine, who do I want to be? As simple as that. Who do I choose in this moment to be? And then with every breath, with every thought, and with every action, just do it.